Thank you for considering ClearDATA's Information Security Division, U.S. Healthcare Compliance, to help your providers, critical access hospitals, and rural hospitals meet the meaningful use 15th core criteria, the security risk analysis. ClearDATA is a healthcare-specific, HIPAA-compliant data center focused on healthcare, compliance, and cloud. This 10-minute video will explain our security risk analysis process, deliverables, and follow-on opportunities. First, we're going to review why our clients participate in an SRA. Then we'll cover the elements required by the 15th core criteria and the SRA deliverables. Finally, we'll discuss follow-on opportunities for you to present to your clients. The real issue is that HIPAA is no longer a paper tiger. Here are some headline quotes from the OCR. Last year, the feds held 4 regional training sessions to collaborate with state attorney generals on enforcing HIPAA rules. Note the third bullet point addressing business associates. We'll return to that point as we share our security risk analysis process. When we first started performing SRAs, we reviewed our client's PHI inventory. After all, we need to know where PHI is located before we can determine if the safeguards are in place to protect it. We very quickly determined that regardless of the size of the organization, a PHI inventory rarely exists. We have therefore added developing a PHI inventory to our process. Our SRA process follows 45 CFR 164.308A1, namely the administrative, physical, and technical safeguards for protected health information, or PHI and ePHI. We look for threats and vulnerabilities to these safeguards and determine if they are sufficient to be effective, currently operational, applicable for the size and scale of the organization, and represent applicable compliance programs. Let's review the 3 safeguards required: administrative, physical, and technical. Note that we've added a 4th, organizational safeguards. On a previous slide, the Office of Civil Rights talked about holding business associates liable. We've added this 4th safeguard as over 95% of the SRAs we've completed demonstrated that providers and hospitals don't have the necessary BAs in place to protect themselves. The definition of administrative safeguards are the actions, policies, and procedures to manage the selection, development, implementation, and maintenance of security measures to protect ePHI and to manage the conduct of the covered entity's workforce in relation to the protection of that information. After validating the PHI inventory, we develop a critical analysis of the typical administrative vulnerabilities and threats. We then establish a criticality rating of the applications that create, store, maintain, or transmit ePHI. Using this criticality rating, we evaluate the natural and man-made threats to ePHI. We then review the client's security and privacy incident reports to understand any prior exploitations of vulnerabilities. Based on this review, we establish a likelihood matrix, which is correlated to a threat matrix, producing a threat rating. The definition of physical safeguards are the measures, policies, procedures to protect a covered entity's electronic information systems and related buildings and equipment from natural and environmental hazards and unauthorized intrusion. Initially, we follow the same method as in the administrative safeguards by developing a critical analysis of the typical vulnerabilities and likelihood of threats to the physical safeguards. We then review the client's imaging and document physical computing environment and any past criminal activity to assess if the current physical safeguards suffice. Specific areas of focus are visitor access controls, facility and perimeter access controls, and any monitoring. Finally, we review the workstation security and any media and device asset and disposal controls. The definition of technical safeguards refer to the technology and the policy and procedures for its use that protect electronic PHI and control access to it. The technical safeguards are more involved and require a person with technical expertise. We review the security infrastructure, software, and protocols. We then review how PHI is transmitted, the virtual infrastructure and server, firewalls, and router configurations. We look at the VPN configuration and review the client's network map to identify vulnerabilities. Then we review any audit logs, malware controls, workstation configurations, and other controls. Finally, We look at the network, how data is encrypted and handled at rest, in use, and being transmitted. The definition of organizational safeguards are the covered entities BAs. Because of the liability associated with BAs, we review the client's current BAs. Our focus is to evaluate shortfalls or gaps in the deployment and maintenance of BAs and third-party contractors. Our final report includes a risk analysis, vulnerability and threat matrices, and a risk remediation roadmap with high, medium, and low risks called out. Each identified risk is detailed with an appropriate remediation. Typically, we develop the final report with the partner so they can begin discussing remediation with their client. To support our partners, ClearDATA has created a REC referral program. Designed to help you build your sustainability model, REC partners may use ClearDATA's HIPAA-compliant data center to offer your clients disaster recovery, backup and restore, EMR hosting, and penetration testing, all while earning referral fees. In review, partnering with ClearDATA has clear advantages. We'll provide a highly professional SRA that will bring real value to your clients. It also provides you with the opportunity to extend your consulting arm. If you have any questions, feel free to call me at 602-635-4016 or email me at carl.kunkelman@cleardata.net.